Hi, I'm Harrison. What's your name?
Dr. Keith Kantor.
Good to meet you.
Nice
So
to meet
what's your job?
Well, I own Service Foods, and its associated companies are all-natural food companies that sell USDA all-natural foods directly to families, and we also teach them how to live a healthy lifestyle. The way we do that is through all-natural foods, our team of naturopathic doctors.
What's that? A naturopathic doctor?
A doctor that doesn't do it with medicine and operations. He does it naturally. Registered licensed dietitians.
And that is? I don't know what that is.
Dietitians are people that go to school to teach you what to eat, properly.
Yeah.
Registered nurses, certified fitness experts, and certified all-natural chefs. And our mission is to improve America's health one family at a time, and help solve the healthcare crisis.
Okay, so I think I'm ready to... You're Dr. Keith Kantor, and you go to different families and you give them an education on what good foods you should have and what you should not have, and kind of teach them how to live a healthy lifestyle.
That's correct. And the reason we do that is, do you know what the Center for Disease Control is?
I think it's in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's in Atlanta. Well, they say that 75% of all chronic diseases, which is all the bad diseases, heart disease and arthritis, and 75% of all the chronic diseases are nutrition related. So by teaching the people what to eat, especially considering if they have a chronic disease, and maybe what exercises to do, we could help those diseases. It's called mitigate those diseases, make them better. And some of them, or a couple of them, we could even totally cure, like diabetes type 2, which is real bad in the United States. And that's what our goal is, because our healthcare system in the United States is broken. It's overburdened. So the best way to help it, forget all the political ways to do it, but the best way to help it is to make it so you don't have to use it. And by getting the people healthier to start off with, that's what we did.
So how big is y'all's company?
Well, we cover 5 states. We have several companies under one umbrella. We have Service Foods, Blue Ribbon Foods, Southern Foods at Home, and Greenbox Foods. And Greenbox Foods is national, but the rest of them cover the Southeast. We cover Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. And we have about 50,000 customers or so in that area. And I do have some things to show you how we help spread the word.
Okay.
Besides going to the individual families and teaching them, and of course using the internet and social media. I recently wrote a book, and it's sort of cool. It's called The Greenbox League of Nutritious Justice.
Okay.
And what we did in the book is, first of all, we named all the fruits and vegetables and beef. So I'll just show you real quick to not spend too much time on it. But like it's Adam apple. But then in there, we'll tell you why an apple is good for you. And then we'll have an interesting fact. We call it a snack fact. And we explain what's good and why you should have it. And then we have sort of comics, you could call it. But we made a story about all this different, I guess we would call superheroes. So it made sense to the people, and the kids would read it.
Okay.
And the head good guy is nutrition. Then you have exercise and education. And then we also have articles in here, like the difference between all natural and organic, and things about allergies and nutrition. And I guess some of it would be more adult stuff. Then we have recipes in here for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 25 each. And then we have something that the kids could do called Paula Plus. And your father would know what it is. I don't know if you had the presidential award for, you don't have gym class anymore in school, right?
No, we do.
Every day?
Not every day. Next year it will be every day, but because I'm going to a middle school, but in elementary school, you have in our elementary school, you have like music and art and then 3 days of PE.
Okay, that's good. Most
So-
schools eliminated the PE. But when we went to school, we had the presidential challenge, it was called. You had to climb ropes and do push-ups and do sit-ups, and you got this badge. Now they call it Pala Plus. And it's the Presidential Active Lifestyle Award plus nutrition. And I happen to be in charge of that, so if the people are willing to do it and they do all the work that they have to do, certain things they have to eat, they have to have so many steps a day or so many exercises a day, then they get a certificate signed by people more famous than me. Do you know who Drew Brees is?
No.
I think he's a football player. No. And then Dominic Dawes. So one's a gymnast and one's a football player, and they get a signed award for doing it. But the concept was that if they could see it, hear it, I also on the comic books here have coloring. So they could see the comic book with the story, and each one has a theme. And then there's a page there for them to spell. So that's Orlando, he's Orlando Orange, so they have to spell out orange. So the concept was for them to, hear it, see it, color it, and spell it, and maybe they'll learn that an apple is healthier than a cupcake. And then we made a free app, if I could show you. And I'll tell everybody now this is my wife's. Okay, and it's called Greenbox Heroes is the name of the app. It's a free app. It's everywhere. It's on Apple. It's on Amazon. It's in the Google Store. But it has bits and pieces of the book in it. So here you push play.
Adam Apple was out for his morning run and was on his last trip around the block.
Anyhow, and this is what we call the hero book. This is the descriptions that we talked about in the book. So they just push it here.
It helps prevent heart disease, lowers cholesterol, reduces blood pressure, stroke.
And it'll go through, and there's 4 for each one, but this is the most fun.
Yeah.
And each one does a different thing. Yes, Blueberry Hill.
Yeah!
But it'll also have all the...
Antioxidants see blueberries fight off harmful free radicals which can make us sick.
And then it has exercises in it. And it'll go through each one, and it's explaining there how to do it. And then it has a coloring book in it. So you touch it, the color you want, and you could color in the item, and you could spell it. So you hit there, so it's Adam, and now you spell apple. Now, so again, the idea is to let them use all their senses, in a sense, to do it. And then it has fancy stuff like calculators, and this would be for older children. If they do want to lose weight, there's a calculator in there to show them what to do. For body mass index, which a lot of companies, calories burned for different exercises, and nutritional values of different foods.
Why did you?
Three-letter question. What's the most important question to always ask?
Why did you pick your job?
It's sort of a long story, but if you have the time, my daughter, who's now 34 years old, is a general manager for Lifetime Fitness. Actually, she's the #1 general manager. She just went to Vegas in all the United States, and she was #2 in North America. When she was younger, she was getting sick, and we couldn't figure out why she was getting sick. Well, this again is in the old days, over 30 years ago. Well, back then they used to wrap the meat in saran wrap, which they still do if you look at it in the supermarket. But to keep it red, they put a little formaldehyde in it. She was allergic to formaldehyde, and it took us forever because that didn't come up in any of the allergy tests or anything. So once we figured that, then I went to all natural and organic foods so she wouldn't have that problem. And then I got interested in it, and I said, this is something that I should do. And this was after I first got out of active duty in the Marines. So I had a job already, and I started doing it on decide, and I eventually bought a food company. And then we went from there, and then over time made it an all-natural food company, and then added all the extra services to it.
If you could look back to yourself 11, what would you say?
If I could look back to myself when I was 11, what would I say? Well, I grew up, the times were so different because there's such a vast age difference, so it was literally a different world. Like, from the time I was 5 years old, I went to school myself, which was only 5 blocks away, but they don't let kids do that now. And after you finished your homework, I was allowed to leave the house myself. So by the time I was 11 years old, you did so much more things on your own because your parents weren't worried about somebody kidnapping you, all the different things that happen now. And I grew up in New York City, and we were fairly poor, although I didn't know it because everybody was poor around me. So we worked from the time we were pretty young. I remember asking my father if I could have an allowance. Did you get an allowance?
No.
Okay, well, either did I. So I asked my father because somebody else was getting an allowance. And my father said, "What's an allowance?" And I said, "It's money you get." He goes, "Why do you get it?" I said, "Because I'm your kid." And I didn't understand the joke at the time. He goes, "Well, we don't know that for sure," but years later I understood the joke. So he said, "Let me think about it." And he came home, and I was 6, with this big box. I opened up the box, and it was a shoe shine kit. And we lived right next to the elevator trains, which are the trains that, like are up in the air and before they go down. So he got me a shoe shine kit, and he took me to the thing before school, and he showed me how to do it. And I started shining shoes, and he said, "Here's your allowance." And it sounds funny, but in 1960, think how long ago that was, I was making $8 a week. Do you know how much money that was? That's like almost what an adult made. And I was making $8 a week, and the kids were getting 25 cents allowance. So I didn't know what to do with it. There's only so much candy you could buy when you're a kid. So I just would give my father $7 or $6.50, and he was, quote, putting it away for me. So it was a lot different when we grew up. But I think I was entrepreneurial, which it looks like you're going to be, or you are already.
How can people learn about your business?
Well, one, they could go to my personal website, which is Dr. for Dr. Keith Kantor, KeithKantor.com, or they could just go to servicefoods.com, and from there they could go to all the different social media because we have it all, and we get a pretty fair amount of press because I'm interviewed a decent amount.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show for Face the Itch, and
I'm real
it was good to
excited.
meet you.
It was great meeting you.